So, you're thinking about moving to Destin. You've seen the photos, you've scrolled past the white sand and the Emerald Coast waters on Instagram, and you've probably said something like, yeah, I could live there. And honestly, you might be right. But the version of Destin that you see online and the version that you experience when you live here full time aren't always the same. What a lot of people do is fall in love with the idea of Destin, but they don't really have an understanding of the day-to-day reality. And after years of helping people buy and sell property here on the Emerald Coast, I've seen the same pattern over and over again. So this video is not here to scare you away. I'm not anti-Destin, I'm actually far from it. It's here to make sure that if you do make the move, you're doing it with your eyes wide open. Because for every jaw-dropping sunset, there's usually a financial headache, a traffic jam, or logistical nightmare just hiding around the corner. And we're going to talk about all of it. But make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to flip the script and talk about why so many people do move here, and more importantly, why they're staying. Because if Destin was all pain and no payoff, this place would have emptied out a long time ago. What's up, everyone? It's Danny Wheels Margliano with World Impact Real Estate, DestinPropertyExpert.com, and StayTimeVacations.com. My wife Michelle and I are local realtors here on the Emerald Coast of Florida, and we've been helping people just like you buy, sell, and invest on homes and condos all over the Panhandle, from Panama City Beach to Destin, 30A, Freeport, and Fort Walton Beach. If you're ready to invest or make the move down here, hit me up. You can call, text, or email. Let's make it happen. In today's video, we're talking about the brutal, honest reasons why Destin might not be the right fit for you, and how to know if it actually is. So let's jump in. The first section is going to be the financial reality check. All right, let's start with everyone's favorite topic, money. Most people look at a property here and think, okay, I could swing that mortgage payment, and technically, sure, you may be able to, but the mortgage is just level 1 of the video game. The real boss battle is everything that comes after that. Insurance, maintenance, assessments, and what we like to call the tourist tax. Take insurance, for example. I recently sold a home for just over $1.4 million, and the initial insurance quote came in just over $10,000 a year. So depending on exactly where you live, you might feel that that's reasonable, or you might think it's completely ridiculous. So let me know in the comments, does that sound high, low, or just no thanks, I'm gonna rent? Okay, so now when we're talking about home insurance here, we're not just talking about one really neat, tidy little policy. You've got windstorm, you've got flood, and if you're near the water, like pretty much everything is here, these are not going to be optional upgrades. So your lender, they're going to usually require you to have these things. And it really just depends on where exactly you're at and what flood zone that you're going to fall into. So now you might be thinking, well, maybe I'll just buy a condo. And that might be right for you, but you need to understand a few things. Your HOA usually includes a lot with a condo. The amenities, the water, the sewer, maybe internet or cable, insurance on the building itself, and that sounds great, really, until you hear the word special assessment. Special assessments can really be a financial landmine for you. So these can be things like roof replacements, building repainting, parking deck repairs after storm damage, structural issues, or just things that the HOA didn't plan for, or things that just they may be budgeted for, but these are going to go way over budget. And I've seen things go from anywhere from $5,000 or just a few $1,000s and all the way up to $80,000 for one unit. So this can really hurt. Now, before you panic, no, they don't usually just ask you to drop 80 grand just right off the bat. They're typically going to break it down into payments over a year or a few years, depending on how much the special assessment is. And it's rare that they come out of nowhere. These projects usually have been talked about for months or longer, and they have to be voted on and they have to be approved. So at least there's a little leeway here. Then there's the salt air. That beautiful ocean, it's corrosive and it'll absolutely eat up your stuff. Your car's paint, your undercarriage, your AC units, outdoor fixtures, railings, fencing, anything really that's exposed, it's going to get punished here. The maintenance schedule for a property near the Gulf is way faster than if you were inland. You'll be repainting, sealing, replacing things often. Places like Niceville, Crestview, and Freeport, well, they don't get hit quite as hard, but if you're living close to the water, the salt air is part of the deal. And then there's the tourist tax. It's not official, but it's real because groceries, dining out, basic services, and everything is really priced higher because this is a resort town. You're not going to be shopping in a quiet little suburb. You're shopping here where people come on vacation and they're dropping money like, it's going out of style. So when you're trying to budget, you can't really use off-season prices and pretend that that's normal, because a lot of the times you're going to be spending money during peak season. So the bottom line, the true cost of ownership here, it's really layered. You have your mortgage, your insurance, assessments, maintenance, and resort pricing. If you don't account for all of it up front, well, it's going to surprise you later, and those aren't going to be fun surprises. So next, we're going to talk about infrastructure and gridlock. Let's say you're okay with the money side. Next up is going to be, can you handle the infrastructure here? Because Destin's roads, well, they were built back when it was a sleepy fishing village, not for a full-blown tourist machine. And our main artery is Highway 98. And from spring break through Labor Day, it's often behaving like a highway that starts behaving like a parking lot more. You're going to sit a lot, you're going to hit a lot of traffic. So that 15-minute drive, well, in June, it's going to take you 45 minutes. So you need to get used to that. If you got to cross the bridge or go down 98 between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. in peak season, well, you're not going to just be running an errand. You're going to be launching a full-blown operation. You'll be taking a while. And then once you finally get where you're going, you get to play everyone's favorite little beach town mini game. It is finding parking. So trying to park in popular beach accesses or harbor spots or downtown Destin when it's busy, well, basically, that's an Olympic event on its own. Public lots are filled up early, sometimes even by 9 a.m. So side streets, they also get jammed, but when you become a local and you're here more, you're going to be able to find really your own little niches or carve out spots that that you can find a spot or go to any time of day. And they're here, you just have to look for them. On top of that, we have the eternal soundtrack of coastal living. It's road construction. And we have a lot of projects here that might take a few weeks. Some, they drag on for months and even a couple seasons. So cones, lane closures, detours, it all takes an already stressful traffic flow and makes it really chaotic. And some days, it feels like you're navigating an obstacle course just to grab a gallon of milk. As a resident, you're going to really end up structuring your life around this. You do basically all your grocery runs early. You're going to schedule appointments in the off season, and you're going to shift your routine to avoid the worst of it. This doesn't mean that you can't live here. It just means your spontaneity really gets traded in for strategy. Moving on to section 3. This is the healthcare gap. Now, let's get into something that a lot of people really don't think about until they have to, which is healthcare. For a region with as much money and growth, there is a noticeable gap when it comes to medical services, especially specialized care. Our emergency care for trauma, well, it's not too bad, but if you get in a really bad wreck and it's something extreme, you're going to wind up having to get life flighted out to Pensacola or another regional major trauma area. If it's something basic, our ER can definitely handle it. But if you're going to need specialized care, like cardiologist, neurologist, endocrinology, and so on, we do have them here, but a lot of these specialists, they're going to be booked up, or you might have to take a ride to Pensacola or Panama City Beach, which isn't the end of the world, but it's not the most convenient thing either. Which leads to part 2, travel. During the busy tourist season, the ER wait times can really get brutal. The emergency rooms fill up with visitors dealing with sunburn, dehydration, injuries, and all the random things that can happen when people are on vacation. So you're sharing the medical system with a temporary population that spikes for half the year. Finding good primary care doctors, it can be difficult, but they're out there. And a lot of times it's going to take maybe a referral from a friend or neighbor. Some people, they even keep their primary doctor back in their old state and fly or drive back once a year, but that's really rare. For retirees especially, this can be a big shock. They picture a full service retirement friendly area, and when they come to discover that the lifestyle is amazing, but the healthcare system requires some patience, well, it's not for everyone, so you have to decide that.
Thinking about relocating to the Destin, Florida area? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is designed to save you hours of research. I've linked it below, from top employers to the best hospitals, and a wealth of other things you need to know before making the move. The best part is that this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me right, 100% free. Click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps.
Section 4 is the tourist ecosystem. Okay, let's now talk about the permanent house guest that you never technically invited, which is tourism. From March through October, your hometown turns into a full-time vacation zone, and that changes everything about how it feels to live here. The grocery store on Saturday morning in July, that's not a casual stroll. That's survival mode with carts full of floats, chips, and 48 packs of water or beer. Roads, they get more aggressive. Restaurants are packed with hour-plus waits. Everything feels faster, louder, and a bit chaotic. And as a local, that can wear on you after a while. One of the biggest quality of life trade-offs is going to be your relationship with the beach. The thing that probably drew you here in the first place, the beautiful, quiet shoreline, turns into a high energy, very crowded scene for a big chunk of the year. So if you had this vision of a peaceful mid-morning walk on an empty beach from April through August, well, it's not really reality. You're gonna want the peace and quiet. You're gonna find it either early in the morning or on the off season. So you got to figure out what the trade-off is and if you're okay with that, and most locals are. So you'll have to start structuring your life around basically the tourist calendar. Date nights, well, they're usually better in off-season. Big shopping trips, weekdays, not weekends. Any appointment that requires driving across town, schedule it between November and February if you can. The tourist economy is absolutely what keeps this area thriving. And, that's no question. But as a resident, you're constantly balancing the economic upside against the stress and inconvenience that it can create in your day-to-day life. Next thing, we're going to talk about the part that everyone loves in photos, but not always it's the same in real life: the environment. First, the summer heat and humidity. Well, the postcards don't really show that part. The heat index is over 100, and it feels like the postcards don't show you the part where the heat index is over 100 and the air feels like a warm, wet blanket someone threw over your head. This isn't Arizona dry heat. This is walk outside instantly and instantly start sweating, unless you're in the water or on the water. July and August can feel really punishing with the weather, but most outdoor activities get pushed to early mornings or evenings, and the AC basically becomes life support system, which shows up in your power bill. Then there's the insects situation here. We have mosquitoes, and that's for sure. And there's also things called yellow flies. Those are the ones that really can test your will to live. On certain days, especially after rains or near the wet areas here, they can really get aggressive. You'll learn to keep bug spray basically in your car, in your backpack, and really handy. It's going to be your best friend. And over all of that, there is hurricane season from June to November. You're not going to be panicking every day, but there is always the low-level awareness in the background, and you need to watch the tropics. We have been lucky here, and we haven't been hit with a hurricane directly in many years, but we do live on the water in Florida, and it's something that you really need to pay attention to. It is a real danger, but like I said, we've been really lucky. All of that loops back into maintenance. The salt air doesn't just nibble on your car, it goes after your house. Metal fixtures corrode faster, wood decks weather quickly, paint doesn't really last as long. So owning a property here means that you're in a constant battle with the elements and to protect your investment. You're really trading off a more stable, predictable climate for one that's stunningly beautiful, but more intense, more demanding, and occasionally can be stressful. Number 6 is the service industry challenges. Now, let's connect all of this into another major reality: getting stuff done. All that extra maintenance, wear and tear, means that you're going to need contractors, handymen, HVAC people, plumbers, electricians, you name it. So here's the catch. During peak tourist season, these service industries get slammed. Most of the high quality tradespeople are booked solid doing work on vacation rentals and hospitality projects where they can basically charge more and they're busier. And sometimes us locals, we get forgotten. So you need to really find someone that's going to be reputable and can work with you no matter what time of year. A lot of the workforce is seasonal too. People come in, they work hard for the busy season, and then they leave when it slows down. That means that sometimes you call a company that you loved one year, and the next year it's totally new crew with totally different standards. Combined with the high cost of living here, that means that you pay a premium for basically every service. If you need a plumber to come unclog a drain, it's going to cost more than you would expect. And the way to survive this, well, it's simple but not always obvious. Build your network early. Don't wait until the pipe bursts or the AC fails in the middle of the summer. You don't want to go hunting for help then. The day that you close on a home, you should really be asking your realtor and asking them or friends for a trusted list of all these people that can help you with work. You're going to want to talk to your neighbors, people that have lived here for years, and ask them who they rely on and what kind of local knowledge is gold. When you do have to go to, say, Google and you're looking to search for some kind of handyman or something, just make sure you read the reviews, especially the recent ones. Look for people who mention the long-term reliability, the communication, fair pricing over several years, not just a one-time job. It takes effort, but it's the difference between constantly feeling behind and being able to handle issues calmly when they come up. Okay, section 7, the October revelation. After all that, you might be wondering, okay, Danny, does this ever actually feel like paradise Or am I just dreaming about it? And yes, it does. And for most locals, that feeling hits hardest in October. October is what I like to call, and most people do, is the locals month or October Revelation. And once you've lived here through one, you'll know exactly what I mean. The weather is absolutely perfect. The brutal summer humidity, it's finally gone. We get temperatures in the low 80s. The beaches are so comfortable, they're uncrowded, and you could be outside all day without melting. And then the best part, the crowds are really gone. By October, kids are back in school. The spring break crowd and summer chaos, it's over. Snowbirds haven't started to come. And for a few beautiful weeks, you get this place all to yourself, and it's wonderful. All of a sudden, you can go to the beach at noon on a Tuesday or a Saturday and actually find parking. You can get a table at your favorite restaurant without a 90-minute wait. On Highway 98, well, it moves like a normal road. The grocery store, it feels peaceful. And for a little while, you get to experience the version of Destin that everyone dreams about. Small town, coastal life, and with a world-class scenery. A lot of the locals, they plan their lives around October. They want to stay in town instead of traveling. They knock out the outdoor projects, they hang out with friends, they hit their favorite spots, and just enjoy the area basically without fighting the crowds. It becomes this mental anchor point. You want to put up with 7 or 8 months of chaos, and because those few months remind you exactly why you live here. And then there's October, when the patterns start to cool off and snowbirds start to come, but really it's nice and it's quiet all the way through the first or second week of March. That's when spring break really kicks in again. Moving on to section 8, and that is making it work. Local strategies. So let's say you've listened to all this and, well, you're still here. You're still curious. So maybe you're even more determined. So how do you actually make Destin work as a full-time resident? Step 1, adopt a local mindset from day one. You can't force this place to operate like a normal town. You have to work with its rhythms and not against them. That means you basically have to start living by the tourist calendar, not your own. You need to hit the beach early or late, not in the middle of the day and not on the weekends. You will do your big errands and shopping during weekdays. You plan doctor's appointments and cross-town trips for the off-season when possible. And step 2, build your network early. The moment you own a property here, you should have a good AC company, a great plumber, an electrician, a handyman, or a general contractor, or preferably both. Some type of cleaner for your house if you want that, and ideally a primary care doctor lined up, and that you could ask your realtor for some help. So ask your realtor. A good local agent works with these people constantly on their clients' homes and often on their own investment properties. So they know who shows up, who does quality work, and who's insured and legitimate. Then talk to your neighbors, people who have survived multiple summers and storms. They know exactly who to trust. Step 3, use online tools smartly. So when you're vetting these companies online, don't just skim over one star ratings. You need to read all the reviews. You want to look for locals that are mentioning that they've used the company for years. Look for comments about reliability, communication, and just how they've handled problems. Not just they showed up on time. The same goes with finding primary care doctors. Referrals are huge, and that's the best way, I think, to find someone really good. Overall, success here isn't about eliminating all of the challenges. That's impossible. It's about anticipating them and structuring your life so that you can really do it with a lot less stress. So you're going to want to budget for higher cost, expect the summer crowds, build relationships before you need them. And if you can do that, well, you give yourself room to actually enjoy the stuff instead of constantly being blindsided by the bad.
Hey guys, it's Danny Margliano. As much as I love making these videos, there is one thing I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the US make the move here to the Destin, 30A, and Panama City Beach area. I've helped countless families make the move, so whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here on the screen and linked in the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move to the Emerald Coast of Florida.
Is it really worth it? Well, so after all this, the big question is the Destin right for you? Do you think you can handle it? There is no really one size fits all. It depends on you. If you understand the financial realities, can handle the seasonal chaos, and you don't mind planning around the tourist, and lastly, if you're proactive instead of reactive, then yeah, this lifestyle can be incredible. You wake up near some of the most beautiful beaches in the country, and in October and the months around there, you get those unreal sunsets. You get the coastal lifestyle that a lot of people experience only for a week a year. But if you're listening to all this and thinking, that sounds exhausting, then that's your answer too. Destin is not a good fit for everyone, and that's okay. It demands flexibility, patience, and a certain kind of resilience. If you're still here after all this, well, you're probably the exact person who can make it work here. If you want more brutally honest insight about living, investing, or vacationing along the Emerald Coast, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, and reach out if you're really thinking about making the move. I'm Danny Wheels Margliano with World Impact Real Estate, DestinPropertyExpert.com, and StayTimeVacations.com. If you're ready to explore your options down here, call, text, or email, and let's make it happen.